Here are 5 of some of the best multiplayer survival games on the Quest 2, Quest 3, or Quest 3S. There are also 2 honorable mentions hidden somewhere in this video. These are games that aren't out yet but should come out sometime this year and will be more multiplayer survival games to look forward to. But first we have number 5. This is a game that's been out for a couple years now but didn't get its multiplayer update until recently, December 16th of 2024. In this game you are in a jungle either solo or with up to 3 other people, that's 4 total, playing in a story mode or just regular survival mode. This game is definitely the most immersive game on this list. Not only does it have some of the best physics in multiplayer VR, but when you craft weapons or tools you just start physically putting them together, no menu or anything. If you don't know how to assemble the tool that you need, you can check the handbook on your chest. This is where a majority of your menu is. I love this style of menu. It feels way more immersive than some floating screen in front of you. You are in a jungle, so a ton of things can go wrong, whether it's accidentally picking up a poison frog or getting attacked by an alligator. The game has this backpack system we all know and love for your inventory. You also have a ton of different stats you need to keep up with, like food, water, health, sanity, making it truly immersive. This list is in no particular order, but if I had to rank, this would definitely be the best co-op survival game on the list. The name of the game is Green Hell and it can be found on the MetaQuest store for $30. Expensive for a Quest game, but definitely worth it. Just know there is a Steam version, but it's not crossplay. In fact, the Steam version has kind of been left behind, not being updated since April of 2023. Alright, next on this list is another 4-player survival game. This one, on the other hand, has a co-op mode where you work together or a PvP mode where you fight against each other. In this game, you're in a zombie wasteland with different NPC camps where you can upgrade your gear, accept quests, most of which take you out into the wasteland, looting and exploring, all while of course fighting zombies. The zombies aren't the only thing that can kill you. This game also has a hydration and hunger system. Whether you're picking crops from the garden, fishing, or hunting, you need to find a way to feed yourself. Don't worry, there are bows, I just didn't have one unlocked yet. The map is massive and it has a level system, so while you can explore wherever you want, if you want to actually survive the higher level areas, you need to level up your player and talents. You can craft, unlock, or buy a ton of different weapon types, from bows, guns, melee weapons. You can also craft tools like the stick to cook your meat on from your unethical hunt earlier. This game was pretty hated when it came out, but overall I think it's underrated. Don't get me wrong, it definitely has its flaws, like weapons being glued to your hand and a menu system that doesn't feel very immersive, or hitting zombies not having any physics, but the game does have physics elsewhere, like player item interactions. Overall, if you're looking for an open world multiplayer zombie game, this is really one of your only options for now. Of course, the people who made Ghost of Tabor are also making Silent Night, supposedly the DayZ of VR, so we'll see. But if you're interested in the game I just showed you, the name of the game is Survival Nation, and it can be found on the MetaQuest store for $30. Next, we have my personal favorite game on this list, and unlike the first 2, this is a massive multiplayer game with lobbies of up to 100 players. This is basically the Rust of VR, and if you don't know what that is, it's a huge PvP survival game where you start off with no clothes on a beach. From here, you farm resources, craft tools, and build a base. The game goes through a technology progression, starting with stone tools, bows and arrows, and eventually building your way up to guns and metal tools. There are points of interest like broken down gas stations where you can find loot and fight other players. Your ultimate goal is to build and defend your base, all while trying to raid other people's bases. While this game does have a hunger system, it's much less focused on survival from the environment and more so focused on surviving other players. This is one of the few VR games I can spend hours in and not get bored. Again, the people who made Ghost of Tabor are coming out with a similar game called Grim, which is actually released the day I made this video. By the way, these games I mentioned that are made by the same people as Ghost of Tabor are not the honorable mentions, those are still coming later in this video. But as for Grim, it's basically going to be the same game as Strayed, except on Mars, which will be interesting. Yes, Grim's team is much larger, and I'm sure the game will be more polished, but if you're looking for an actual Rust-like gameplay, I would come check out this game Strayed, which can be found on the MetaQuest store for $20. Number 2 on this list is a medieval survival game. Like I said, these games aren't ranked in any order, but honestly, this game is one of the worst ones on this list in terms of physical features. But it is one of the best when it comes to amount of content. And let's be honest, it's really the only medieval survival game you're going to find on the Quest. In this 4-player game, you can play solo or with friends in a large medieval world. Like the other co-op games, you have hunger and thirst system, and everything starts off by crafting an axe. As you explore the world, you'll find medieval villages with NPCs you can interact with by waving your arm. You can trade with these NPCs or get majority requests from them. You can see your quests, crafting, and map all in this booklet on your wrist. Whether you're here to help the town or with your friend trying to steal all their goods, it's fun to interact with the NPCs. In this game, you actually wind up building your own little town where you can hire people to work the land. I didn't get super far, but I believe you also wind up getting married in this game. There are enemies in combat, but this is where the game is lacking. It's definitely more focused on the building and surviving. Overall, a very unique game, and if you like more of a role-play medieval game, definitely check it out. The name of the game is Medieval Dynasty New Settlement, and it can be found on the MetaQuest store for $25. Now, for the 2 honorable mentions I was talking about, first honorable mention is Requisition VR. This isn't as much a survival game as it is just a zombie wave game, but I included it for one reason only, and that's its weapon crafting mechanic. You can literally take random items and duct tape them together to create new weapons. Requisition VR is set to release sometime in May of 2025. Honorable mention number 2 is Into the Radius 2. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this will be coming to Quest, but I would be really surprised if it didn't. The beta is actually available right now on Steam, and this game is going to be very similar to the first Into the Radius, but just multiplayer. Now, before I show you the last game on this list, let me know down in the comments what your favorite multiplayer survival game is on Quest, and if you like this kind of content, hit that sub button, and if you absolutely hated the video, hit that like button. Without any further ado, the last multiplayer Quest 2 and Quest 3 survival game is probably the most popular survival game of all time, and that is Minecraft. Now, I'm not going to go through and explain to to you what Minecraft is, but the Quest version is called QuestCraft and it can be found on SideQuest. This is the Java version of Minecraft and the app is completely free, you just need to already have a Java Minecraft account. Apparently it's running better than ever on Quest 3, most of the footage you're seeing is PC VR Minecraft, but here is what it looks like on the Quest. I had issues playing and recording it, but when you're just playing it, it runs fine. If you haven't tried Minecraft in VR, this is definitely a game you need to experience.